Morning, another beautiful day in God's kingdom. Sometimes the effectiveness of a prayer doesn't depend on the length of that prayer. And even Jesus made a reference to that when he was talking about, Pharisees praying long prayers and, verbose prayers and all of that. But let's take a look at an example of what I mean as we look at Genesis chapter 17 and we look at what is happening in verse 18. And here, in fact, let me just go back a bit to verse 17. The Bible says, Abraham fell on his face and laughed and said in his heart, shall a child be born to a man who is 100 years old? And shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bear a child? This was what he was thinking in his heart. And then he said out loud to the Lord, oh, that Ishmael might live before you. Simple words, oh, that Ishmael might live before you. That's a very simple sentence, and yet it was effective because this is what God then says. God then says to Abraham, no, Sarah your wife shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his descendants after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. He shall beget 12 princes, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant I will establish with Sarah, I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah shall bear to you at this set time next year. You see, so those simple words, oh, that Ishmael might live in your sight, cause God to answer him and say, yes, I will bless Ishmael. He will beget 12 princes and he will be a great person as well. But that is not where my blessing is going. That's not where my covenant is going to be. My covenant is going to be with Isaac, whom you have not even given birth to, whom you have not even conceived. And what does that say to us? You see, sometimes we think that our prayers, you feel like, oh, I don't know how to pray. I've got to be able to pray in a particular style. I've got to be able to say some particular words, or I need to be able to be in a particular location, or have studied theology, and all of these things to be able to pray effectively. No, it is a relationship that you have with God. And that relationship you have with God means that you can talk to God. And when you speak to him, just those simple words, God knows that he knows everything that is captured in those few words that you have. And that is because he knows your mind. And so everything, even the words you have not spoken, he already knows it. And so when Abraham was laughing in his mind, was laughing and saying in his heart, XYZ, God had already heard it as a prayer, even before he opened his mouth. So the words that he spoke, God combined the two with the words he spoke and the words he was thinking. God put it together, and all that was a prayer before God. So don't worry too much about how many things you've got to be able to say to God. Just be sincere in your heart, be sincere about your prayer, and God will hear you. And you never know how the answer is going to come, but God will definitely answer you. God bless you. Have a beautiful day.